Please excuse my low energy for this video. My internal battery is dying as we speak. So, I decided to make original characters for my channel. Actually, you guys decided for me. I made a poll on what my next video should be: designing OCs for my channel or designing my Dragon Rider characters and their dragons. You all originally chose channel OCs, but by the time this video is being recorded, dragons have taken the lead, as they should. But worry not, I will still be drawing my dragon characters as I am obsessed with them. Anyway, so channel OCs. Why? Because I like to do storytime videos, and I want to use them as unpaid actors, so I don't have to draw personas of people I know in real life. I also might try some narrative implications with some of these characters, because I'm weird and want to explore emotion in my videos. Let's get to it. First of all, we have to ask the question, what world do they live in? Which is probably one of the most important questions when designing characters. I could have made a really complex and interesting, intriguing world, but I decided to go the easy route and just said that the world they live in is my sketchbook. That's it. That's the only setup I'm going for these characters. I literally just want to design characters I'll have fun drawing. I was originally gonna make the world based on my persona, but then when I started designing characters, they kind of all just started looking like me, and I don't really like that. I know I could have also chose a very specific aesthetic based on sketchbook and leaned into some really interesting designs based on like brush strokes and different ink styles. And maybe I'll do that for future characters, but for now, I'm just having fun. So these characters aren't going to look like me or be the same whatever I am. Except for one character I decided to keep who I love. Everyone meet my pet dog, Cheese. Cheese, as you can see, is covered in holes that their arm comes out of. I'm not sure where the holes go or if they have one arm or an arm for every hole. It's really unclear. Cheese is a she/her on account of her being just a little lady. But she is just a doge, and therefore gender isn't real. I also want to point out the absolute horror of reading my script and realizing every time I wrote hole in it, I did it with with a W. I don't know how to spell. Some last little character notes about Cheese. I'm not sure if there's multiple cheeses or just one. I've never seen two cheeses in the same room to know for sure. In addition, if we ever find out there are multiple cheeses, we call them shredded cheese. And they're definitely a tax accountant in their spare time. And whenever they do taxes for someone, the cheese taxon is playing in the background on loop. And on to our next character. We're gonna get deeper and deeper into lore and depression as we go. Trust the process. For my next character, I decided to just design a literal dragon. I might not be making a video on my Dragon Rider OCs, but I'm still going to put a dragon in this video. My whole reason behind deciding I wanted a dragon is because for this channel I always thought it'd be really cool if I could somehow work into having a pet dragon into my character lore. At one point I was playing with the idea that I had like a dragon sanctuary. I foster dogs, so I thought it'd be really interesting to make dog foster videos, but with dragons as the dogs. For this little guy, I was going to make them match my character as well, but as I just started drawing and playing around, I was having a lot of fun with just a cute, fluffy, feathered character. And that's how Spindle was made. I named them Spindle after Reverse 1999 because I become obsessed with that game. If you know, you know. Spindle is certainly another silly and fun character to add to my roster. As I was drawing them, I really liked the idea that they could change their body length at will, and that purely came from the idea when magicians pull out handkerchiefs from their sleeves and it just keeps going and going and going. I thought that'd be really funny for a dragon's torso. I think it's really fun with characters sometimes to have interesting ways they can move. I kind of imagine how when you pick up cats and they become liquid, like that's the density of Spindle. Spindle is cat shaped. If that makes sense. There's certainly a rambunctious character, a pretty pampered character, I would say. And who can blame me? If you looked into the eyes of this creature, I don't think you'd be able to say no to absolutely anything they could possibly want either. So Spindle is now my baby. I love them and they're cute. That's kind of all I was going for with this character. I quite enjoy them. Next up on character lineup, I decided to rebirth an old character concept I had. Which, prepare yourself for some old loose art. It's hideous, I know. I forgot what I named them at the time, but this is an old warlock character I made for a theoretical D&D campaign. They are now known as the Old Witch of the Woodwin Woods. You can just call them Woodwin for short. Woodwin had a pretty simple first life. She was born a daughter, unwanted and unloved. As such, when she became a young woman, she married a man she didn't love, and eventually had children she couldn't quite figure out how to love. She lived a long life for a human, making it to her deathbed at the impressive age of 87. As she neared her end, she realized she had one real regret in her life. Well, many, actually, but one was a pressing matter. The biggest regret that plagued her was the realization that she never truly felt what it was to love and be loved. She had never truly been happy in her life. So, with the last of her strength and magic, she summoned a fae, a powerful fae who could grant her a wish. Woodwin made a deal with this powerful, mysterious creature. She wished to return to her youth, so she could live once again and try to love her children now estranged. In return, she sold her soul, among a few other things. A small price to pay, really, for a second chance. Only the fae are tricky creatures, and the witch turned warlock didn't get what she thought she had bargained for. Woodwin did indeed regain her youth, returning to a time when she was young, but she was not brought back in time to try and fix the bonds she had long ago torn. She stayed in her time, only her body was rewinded, her children still estranged, still old themselves. And Woodwin gained one more thing she had been unaware of: immortality. Woodwin never did rekindle her relationship with her children, but she did lay a lily on their graves, for whatever that is worth. And to this day, she hasn't tasted the love or happiness she desired. She simply returned to her woods, where she is now known to be the Witch of the Woodwin Woods. Woodwin is a tragic character, some tragedy of her own making, while others chosen for her. She's a character swallowed whole by regret, So consumed by it, she can't figure out how to change. She simply stands frozen, knowing she desires more, but unable to bring herself to reach for it. Maybe we'll meet her again one day. Maybe she will change. But for now, we should probably focus on our next character. Now we have a character I'd made in the past. He's a little more of a developed young man and slightly less depressed, probably. Meet the young fairy prince of the Fall Court, Sprout. Again, some old art incoming, as I made a lot of concept art for this character and his people. Sprout is a curious and kind young prince, much kinder than his queen mother would like. And while Sprout is a fairy of the Fall Court is not what it once was. It has been sealed off from the other courts and their seasons for thousands of years. And while it has been said that the Fall Fairies once thrived being separated from their fellow fae, that is no longer the case. The Fall Court is now a frozen tundra, full of old fairies that can barely survive its icy winds. A court where power and age is an asset one needs to survive. The larger and older fairies, the more feathered and weathered, like the queen, are the ones who survive here. In contrast, the young insects like Prince Sprout and his fruit fly friends are seen as hindrances, even sometimes a waste of precious resources. It is well known that the young are the next generation, the future. But here they do not outlive their predecessors. There is no balls or decadent sweets in the Fall Court. There is only the fight to survive, and the hope that one day the icy winds may quell. A hope Sprout seeks. Much to his mother's dismay, he has chosen a path outside the much-needed hunters and gatherers. He has chosen to search for a way to bring back magics long lost to the Fall Court. He hopes he may reverse the wintry disaster that has befallen his kingdom. A search that led Sprout to find himself tumbling between the roots of the World Tree, trapping him far from home, right here in my sketchbook. It is here his search has led him. A search for survival, a search for a better future for his people. It's up to Sprout to save his court, not just for the older fairies, but the younger ones who are his friends, his family. And I'm sure he will do so. But for now, he finds himself lost in my sketchbook. Maybe here he will find the magics he is searching for. Maybe he will find a way to unseal the Fall Court. But that is a long journey, and there's no telling how long that could take. Hopefully by the time he returns home, it's not too late. I do have more characters to make, but time is running short on this video, so for now we will stick with these 4. Cheese, Spindle, Woodwin, and Sprout. I'm Luz, by the way. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you stuck around to this point. I also need to I'm gonna make a video thanking everybody for 500 followers. I really appreciate it. You've all been very, very wonderful to me and very welcoming. And so I hope this talk through of brain characters and ideas was interesting to you. Please in the comments tell me who your favorite character was, or who your least favorite was, but just know if you comment your least favorite, I will cry. I'm just gonna say goodbye. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.